All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. This is video 2. Okay, so in the last video I finished off at the neck, and that's where I'm going to start, I guess. I know what I'll do is I'll maybe grab a strap. Well, I'm not going to grab the strap. I'll grab the strap in the next video. But basically, the neck is a U-style neck. And there's a couple of things I've noticed with this guitar already. Actually, just bear with me here. The first thing is, like most Les Paul style guitars or Les Pauls, it's heavy. It's actually quite heavy. But I want to show you the cutaways before we get into it. So there's a nice cutaway here, so it's very comfortable, and this cutaway right here is very, very awesome for the hands. You can see how which has always been, what ESP did is, like, this has always been a barrier for Les Paul style guitars, where you usually get up to here and it's just like, that's why you see Slash with the neck up in the air, like that type of thing. But I'm going to tell you something about this guitar. It's very heavy. Not unbearable heavy, but if you had to play a 3-hour night with it, you would find that you have to, you're going to have to be in shape. I'm just going to get the strap on here. Okay, first off, hopefully this is catching it, but this guitar, you can see it's heavy and it sits back a bit more, so you find you're going to have to kind of get yourself kind of used to pushing the guitar forward, where with my SGs I got to kind of pull them back because it is longer. The neck is heavy. Okay, now Gibson makes SGs and whatever, and the headstock falls to the ground, right? So this is a heavy body on this thing, is solid mahogany. This guitar feels very solid. You could beat somebody's sounds, you could kill somebody with it. If you drop this thing on your toe, you're breaking your toe. It feels more like a piece of lead, but it's not that bad. But it is neck heavy. Now, the body obviously being more, it's not quite as thick as a Les Paul body, but it's more toward, it's heavy. So can ESP and LTD design a guitar that's not neck heavy and better than Gibson? Nope. it comes down, what you find is when you're going to find that you're going to get a little bit of, it was like, why is my wrist getting tired? It's like, oh, okay, I'm holding the thing up. So what I find is there's only 2 ways to play this. Geek mode, right? Whatever. And you can see my strap. You got to get a good strap for this one, because like all my old Les Pauls and stuff, and like my double neck, I can feel the strap. The strap is already kind of coming down a bit. So you got to get a good strap that it doesn't stretch as much. So geek mode or full out. The other thing you probably noticed about this guitar is it's loud. It is a very loud. And the other thing I noticed, it prefers, well, I on this guitar I prefer a heavier pick. The notes are good. Nice and clear. A little bit of fret buzz, not too bad down here, but I think that's probably going to go away as I play it more. The other thing I noticed is it's 20-degree radiuses, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that's what the neck is. And the string bends are pretty good, What I find is interesting is that it doesn't feel like I'm playing a bass per se until I'm down here. That feels like bass, sounds like a bass. But then when I get up to here, it's a guitar again. You know what I mean? So it is kind of cool. Whoop. The other thing I noticed about the flat neck is it kind of puts your thumb in the normal spot, so you like the proper spot. So it does feel like you're playing like a classical guitar a bit. So it's for those of you Jimi Hendrix type. It doesn't do that. Like it just, you really got to keep it. You got to kind of put your thumb where it's supposed to be, which is good. It gives you better playing techniques, right? So, and it does seem like a pretty fast neck. So like my lousy chops notwithstanding, but. Switch is easy to hit, like any Les Paul. Push pull pot, nice, easy. I didn't know if these things would be really easy rolling on, rolling off. I have to play it a bit more, but seems pretty good. I'm just in standard tuning now. It is a lot of fun. Like again, there's only 2 modes to play this, so it's either full out. Again, all the notes. Not crazy buzzing, so really cool. The tuners, they feel very natural. Like I'm used to a 12 string, so again, I adapted to this neck really, really quickly. Just due to the fact that I'm used to playing so many different sizes of necks, like I say, from as small as a little mandolin neck that's like no longer than this and no wider than that. So you can see how much space difference there is between, if that's the mandolin neck from these fingers here to here, this is how much bigger the 8 string is. The 12 string probably comes up to about the B string, maybe a little bit less. So this wasn't a huge dive, you know, whatever. So I adapted to it very easily. Yeah, flat, wide neck, you know, it's a metal guitar. The tone and volume don't seem to be in the way. The tone is way back here. The tone's like meh, you know, it's not like a Gibson tone where you roll it off, it's like, oh wow, that's a drastic difference in tone you know, frequency. It's like, it's there, it's not. But I think that has a lot to do with the type of pickups. These aren't dynamic pickups, these are like really clear, kind of a bit void of character, but really clear and really accepting of a lot of compression, sustain, gain. You can saturate the crap out of these things. They are high gain, so like for example, playing through my Hot Rod Deluxe, I did notice that it's like you got to play around to get the EQ right, because these are very hot pickups. They're not probably like say Duncan Distortion, Gibson 500T hot, but they're like in that range somewhere. It feels, well, at least to my ears, it seems that way. Judging by my tube breakup that I'm getting through my amp. This thing has a lot of gain. Soloing up here is, you know, the hand goes right there, which again on a Les Paul you would stop here. Again, I'm not comparing this to a Les Paul per se, but it is kind of based on it. Sitting with it is fine. The nut, I believe, is a graphite nut, if I didn't mention that in the last video. Now, as far as you know, the fit and finish of this guitar, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but there was somewhere around here there was a little bit of pitting. I'd have to get a magnifying glass to see it. Right at the nut here, it's fairly good. The frets are absolutely perfectly like there's no blood. Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to cut yourself. But that's due to the binding, which is kind of seamless. You can sort of see where it is, but like I didn't think this neck had binding until I got the guitar. I was like, oh, it does have binding. You can sort of see it on the top that there's a binding there. But the neck, very fast. It's silky smooth because of the satin finish. So it's like it just... Now, what I don't know is how well this finish is going to hold up, because it is a very light finish. But that's also what's giving you the sustain out of that bridge, right? The other thing I like, there is 2 versions of this guitar that I've seen. Version 1, you get this bridge. The version 2, you get like a more like a, I forget what ESP's calling the bridge. It's like their Pro 1 bridge or whatever. Gibson, you call them an ABR 1. And you got one bridge and then a tailpiece. Well, I prefer this one here, the Tom bridge, because if you look at, hopefully the camera's getting it good, where the saddles are, you can see that you still got like a lot of adjustment where you can pull this back or even buy smaller saddles, shorter saddles. So if you want to do a lot of drop tunings, which I do plan on doing later on, you can really move this around to get the proper, closer to proper string length. 26.5 scale works for me. I don't think I'd want to go any longer than that. The guitar, I'm going to be comparing it to like my Gibson SGs and stuff like that, and my Jackson Flying V in the future. This is a really rhythm-oriented guitar, although you can shred on it and all that stuff, but it's really more bottom end and punchy. It's not so much aggressive and mid-ranged. It does have a bit of a mid-range sound, but whatever. So you can get an idea. It does have that more mid-ranged sound, but it does have a lot. It's more focused on the low end. So yeah, I'll make another video about it.